Hey guys, welcome back to the Scratcher Girls ASMR and More channel. We hope this video finds you well. And it is Christmas night. I hope that you all had a very Merry Christmas. And for those who did not celebrate, unlike myself actually, I didn't celebrate. I didn't cook. My grandchildren are away on a holiday, and my other family members are gone away out of town, so I spent this holiday alone, which is okay. I actually enjoyed my time alone. I just ordered some Chinese and I watched a little bit of television. I try not to do so much, work or business stuff, because after all, it is Christmas, right? So those of you who did not have any family or holiday cheer, you are not alone this year. And in fact, as long as we're around, you won't be alone for future Christmases. The Scratcher Girls are always here. So before my good little scratchy babes, as you guys so interestingly point out certain things that you noticed from the video content, let me just be the first to say, I know that there's that blinding light there. And so the story about that is, guys, we are not a production company. Our claim to fame is scratch therapy. We can scratch your back. We may not be able to get the camera angles adjusted properly or the lighting adjusted properly or the mic work, but let me tell you what we can do. Scratch your back. So again, my apologies beforehand, because I'm pretty sure we'll hear about it. And then also, I've been a teeny tiny bit under the weather, so please excuse my voice. It's a little raspy with these past couple of videos, but I had to bring it to you, right? The show must go on. So we have this gentleman here, which a couple of spots in the video, he is talking. He's expressing how good the scratch therapy feels. He had a couple of questions here and there, but this was a client that was just really curious, and and he really enjoyed the service. He was very surprised by the spine work that you just saw me complete here. The spine work feels really, really good, because if you know anything about us, we try to educate you in regards to what it is we do. And so the spine work is so important because there is a unique relationship between your spinal cord, your brain, and your nerve endings. And so the spinal cord, just kind of concentrating a bit in that area, you really can feel the tingles, and you really can feel the feeling up your spine. I was trying to think of some lyrics that I've heard that speaks of in love songs, when they speak of something up the spine. I couldn't quite think of it in that moment, but it really, you can tell that it's absolutely effective. And so we have this piano movement on the base of our friend's neck here, just to really help to alleviate a little bit of the pressure. A lot of us suffer from migraines or headaches, just stress in general. And so that particular technique would actually help to lift some of the pressure out of the base of the head or neck. And then, of course, running the fingers up and down the hairline and the forehead, that concentrated area. That's a major area for tingles, running along that area. So what you're seeing here, this is like tingles galore. Anything that's going to be, on your head, your scalp, your forehead, your ears, a bit of your face, that's all going to feel really good. And we find in these areas, light tracing and scratching are ideal in these areas, because what's happening in these areas, these aren't really areas that, well, before I say that, for the most part, these are areas that you really don't have like an itchy itch, right? But the scalp, you do. Most of us, have the itchies in our scalp. So usually with the scalp treatment, we're just kind of vigorously, scratching as if you were receiving a shampoo. We'll go medium to firm pressure there. We find that most effective, really simply because, a lot of us do experience a lot of itching in the scalp. So we go in with, that pressure, and then we, of course, slow it up a bit, because after the itchies are gone, then you have the, just the feel-good sensation, in the aftermath. So yeah, that's what you have there. And here we're lightly, I believe, I can't see, but I believe that there's light stroking on the front of his chest, his collarbone area. That's really a nice area for the scratch therapy payoff. It feels really, really good. We try to keep skin contact while you guys are being serviced. However, sometimes, it's impossible. But the idea of keeping contact during the session is because most times you guys fall under a deep, relaxation, to where any sudden movement, excuse me, guys, to where any sudden movement would kind of disturb, your I guess your zen, if you will. So you want to always try to keep some type of contact, because removing or breaking skin to skin contact would kind of be shocking for the client while they're up under. So we try to keep that in mind. I'm obviously doing some earworks here. This is always a favorite. We're not up close on here because, unfortunately, this day I was solo, and so I had to put the camera on the tripod, which, some of you like the still recording, and others you like to get up close and personal. So when we record this way, you're not going to get everything up close and personal. In fact, as you see here, some of your, the camera may be blocked, from me working here. So keep in mind, a lot of the ASMR channels that you see on YouTube, these people are doing it, out of habit or just to create content, which means they're always mindful of the camera being there. They're always engaging with the camera or looking to make sure the camera's still there which I'm not quite sure where it would have gone. But my point in saying all of that is what we share with you guys most times is raw footage. We hardly ever have to create footage for you for the channel because most of the footage is of actual client sessions, which means, we're going to be really concentrating on the client and not concentrating on the camera work. So, I know I repeated 1,000 times, and it seems that I may have to repeat it 1,000 more times for those who are entering the room late. So yeah, how good that must feel, guys. So this is like a little more, people have compared it to acupuncture. Our craft is like art. Whatever you pull from it that works for you, go for it. So, yeah. So in the video, he was, expressing how, it really felt good and, just basically asking how we got started, which most of you know that story. But for those of you who do not, I will share as to this is a 22-minute video, so we need some conversation. So how Mother Scratch got started, let's take it back a little further. So my love of the scratch came from being a little girl in Cleveland, Ohio, maybe about 4 or 5, nap time at my grandparents'. And so while my cousins and I were down for naps, how many of you guys can relate to nap time during soap opera time? I think probably every kid across America had to go take a nap during the soap opera time, because that was the time that housewives had carved out in the day just for herself. And that's when she spent that free time watching her soap operas, or stories, as some would call it, in mid-afternoon. But anyways, we're napping, we're supposed to be napping, but what we're really doing is stealing scratches. So, of course, being the true Capricorn that I am, I made sure that I was always in the middle of the bed. And so we would, all be laying on our back, our tummies. And then we would scratch one another's back. And then we would rotate, which means I stay in the middle, but you go one way scratching, and then your arms go another way, or in the opposite direction scratching. Hence why I received double scratches. And so then, I had my kids. I bribed my kids to scratching my back. And then when they became older, they wanted money. So I had to start paying them to scratch my back. And then one day, obviously at this time, my children are adults themselves with children of their own. And I was at my daughter's house, and I promise you, it was like I was jolted up out of my sleep with, wow, hey, I wonder if, any other people love to be scratched like I do. And I mentioned it to my one daughter, who is now a partner of mine. And we researched, and we found that there were a lot of groups. This was 11, 12 years ago. So, there weren't platforms like Instagram and TikTok and Snapchat. I think we may have still had Facebook, but, we had groups back then. And so we found so many groups where people were discussing their love of scratch. And we're like, hey, we're onto something. And so we started researching, why the scratch feels good, which during that time, there wasn't a whole lot of supporting research. We just kind of had to use the God-given wisdom that we have. So, that's pretty much, how that went. And we just did tons and tons of research. And then we just finally, formed something that looked promising. And so we did the whole trademark thing. We hired attorneys, and it was a lot of hard work, a lot of naysayers, a lot of negative comments, and it was just a mess. But our God is amazing, because somehow he brought us up out of that stigma, and now you guys get it. It's a wellness offering, and it's amazing. So I wanted to come to you guys this Christmas night. I didn't want to forget about you. I definitely wanted to post. I don't necessarily consider this working, when you're doing what you love. So yeah. So anyways, guys, tomorrow is Mother Scratch's birthday. And I'm not ashamed to admit how old I will be. I will be turning the big 5'3" tomorrow. And I'm excited about it. To have another year in this life is quite the blessing, especially with, everything that's going on in the world. To be given another year of life is just amazing. But wait a minute, guys, I have to talk about this movement here. So this movement, so many people, say things like, oh, she's going kind of fast. I'm not sure if I would like that. Listen, we're the experts. Not to put anyone else down, but trust me, we've spent hours upon research, upon client, and we almost have this down to a science. And so every technique that we use, guys, although it may not seem like it is relaxing or whatever to you, but trust me, the combination of techniques that we use are the payoff. That's just the bottom line. It's that thing you'd have to try, as you've so often heard us say, but that move, that's our Mr. Miyagi move from the Karate Child. We put our entire bodies into that, and trust me, you feel it, and it feels good. But anyways, so I have a special video for you guys on my birthday, because I'm sharing my birthday with you with this special content. So it's going to be more like a blog or a podcast type vibe. It's not going to be our usual style. We're going to be doing plenty of scratching. But during this session, it's going to be more like a tour of the scratch, if you will. And so I will be explaining certain things and certain modalities, and I'm excited about it. It's a real treat. My disclaimer now, for those of you who are hardcore ASMR fans, this may or may not be the video for you. Just a forewarning, because there is going to be talking in the video along with the scratching, because as I mentioned, I will be sharing I guess the behind the scenes of the scratch. So I'm really excited. It was just so perfect for like a birthday gift for me to you guys, even though it's my birthday. But there we are with that. You have to always go back to the head work. And usually we always double back upon the different areas, because you just can't, get enough in one time. Usually it's not enough. And I guess because of my background in cosmetology, my career in the industry started out in the hair salon, hence me trying to fix his hair back the way he came in. So I'm a creature of habit. So I would just run off to grab the hot towel, or our hot or warm hug, if you will. So yes, that's the purpose of my absence for a second. And you see that hot, steamy towel. Again, my apologies for the light. I didn't get the lighting right this time. And there it is. So imagine after getting that amazing scratch and then sealing it with this amazing warm towel. You can't beat it. And so here at the end, I'm going to be quiet so that you can hear our clients' approval. We love you guys. We have a date tomorrow. Ciao.
I went a teeny tiny bit over.
That was very kind.
Show love for home team.
Thank you for that.
So yes, it's a yay.
Yay, 100%. That was awesome.
Yay.